Palworld has been dropped for about 5 days now. It costs about $30 and it is going absolutely insane. There's so many similarities between Illuvium and Palworld, and today we're going to have a look at how Illuvium might be able to replicate some of the things that they are doing to get this absolutely gangbusters head start on the game when it launches. The games that launch like this is literally once a year, maybe 2 times a year. It's usually big IP games that come out like a Hogwarts or something like that last year, and they just go absolutely insane on their first week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, month, depending how good the game is. A small studio like this does not usually go absolutely ham. And that's one of the main correlations I see. Illuvium is a brand new first game studio, the same as this one. They've had other little minor games, nothing huge. It's not like Activision or Blizzard releasing a game. If you haven't heard about Palworld, you've been living under a rock. Unless you're not a gamer, then I'll forgive you. But if you're a gamer and you haven't heard about this, what have you been doing? I suggest you go and play it. To be honest, it is really fun. I'm not going to lie. It is a really fun game. And that's literally the gist of it. They built a fun game. It plays on a lot of people's nostalgia and where they wanted, essentially, Pokemon to be at this stage. I remember when I was 7 or 8 when I first played Pokemon. This is what I dreamed of Pokemon to be. Me running around in the world with them around me. I can go and catch them, pick them up, battle them, ride them, do all the things that you think you should be able to do with a Pokemon. It feels like you're there. It feels like you're in the Pokemon world. And they built this. Graphics aren't top-notch. Obviously, Illuvium's graphics are going to be far exceeding them. But this again shows that graphics is not something that you really need for a game to go absolutely ballistic. Graphics is good. You need some sort of stuff, but it is their style. Their style is like this. This is how they wanted it to look. They didn't worry about going to the nth degree. This is obviously where Illuvium is going to literally blow every other game out of the dust. Its graphics side is so amazing that you can't fault it. But I'm just trying to say that it doesn't matter that much. Illuvium needs to find that really good balance of a fun gameplay loop that people can go in, they can understand very fast. They need to be able to pick it up quick. And that really begins with the tutorial. I've literally talked to TSG about this just the other day, about a little bit of flow that the tutorial could go through when you jump into the overworld. So in the last 6 months or so, I've tried 30 or 40 brand new games that have come to mobile when they dropped for another channel that I have. And the worst thing about tutorials that most of those games have is it's do this, do that, do this, do that, just getting you to click, do it really fast, and people just go and just do the tutorial without it. You don't learn anything. Because it makes you click on a button, you don't learn. The best thing with this tutorial and tutorials that work, it doesn't need to feel like a tutorial. You get given things at the top right-hand corner, wherever. Here's the objectives. Do them at your own pace. Eventually, you'll get to a point and go, I think I need to go and do that objective that's sitting up there. And then you go do it. You've learnt. Maybe you get to some things and you've already done it, whatever. But it pushes you in the right track and you learn on your own. You just need to be kind of pushed into where you want to go. You don't need to be forced into it. I feel like we need to have a tutorial that feels nice. It needs to be a part of the game. It doesn't need to feel forced. And I think if we get that right, that is one massive step into getting Illuvium into an easy to pick up game and play. Someone that is 5 through to someone that is 60, they will be able to pick up this game and within an hour, if not shorter, know what they need to be doing on a run when they get back to base, putting in their alluvials and then going for another run, and what they should be looking out for on those runs and what to press. I know it's a lot to ask for, but that needs to be embedded, nice, and fun to do. So I'm not sure how this is going to play out with Illuvium once we get into the game fully, but Palworld in itself is super casual. Like, you can run at your own race, you can go around, do whatever you want, it doesn't matter. And I think that Illuvium will kind of have this as well. Yes, everyone else will be trying to rush to try and unlock things, be the first to do this first, but you don't have to do that. You can run around and take 60 minutes in one run. I feel like that is a huge plus for Palworld as well. It's not something you go into and it's hyper sweaty with people just like trying to outrun everyone. It's faster this. No, it's not like that. You just run at your own pace. You can play multiplayer if you want. You can get heaps of your friends and jump into a map, which I'm going to be doing very soon with a few of the other creators, and I cannot wait to go and do that. And that's the feeling. This Palworld has really captured how much I just want to go and play. I'm at work thinking about Palworld. I want to go and play. It has embedded itself into people's heads because it's just a fun game. And I know Illuvium has talked about it so much, and that's what they're trying to do, a fun game, fun game, fun game, but there's all these other little things that actually make it the fun game. You can't just make a game and expect it to be fun. I find that yes, definitely going down that track. A lot of people don't actually agree because the overworld feels empty. But if we have a look at what Kieran has literally wrote in a Twitter post today, Overworld is your gateway to a multitude of gaming experiences. Imagine creature capturing as all your access pass to various games and adventures. We haven't seen everything that Overworld is right now. At the moment, for me, Arena, not fun for me at all. The access that everyone has to every single alluvial, augment, weapon, everything, I don't have the time to sit there and just think up of teams that are going to work and just practice. I find the fun in going out, capturing alluvials through the overworld, and then trying to build a deck or a team around what I've caught. That feels more mine than just going in and picking whatever I want from all of the characters. So I feel like once we are in there, Arena is going to just go next level and be a lot more, but you need Overworld. We need Overworld, and they've dedicated 3 years to crafting this world. If you're concerned about Overworld feeling empty, which a lot of people do, I agree with you. It does feel very empty right now. They're huge stages, you've got so far to go around, and it's just little balls flying around like this. You need to put the alluvials into the overworld. Have a look at Palworld right now. Why do I think that it's going absolutely bonkers? Because the pals are in the world. It's immersive. You're there walking around with them. They're just a part of the nature. They react to you. You walk over to them, some get scared, run away. Some of them look at you and charge at you. Like it's all immersive. Don't get too worried. Grant's last ever leak, because he is now out of the co-founder role, out of Illuvium, everything together. Thanks, Grant. You've done an amazing job. Thanks for being around. But his last ever leak, he showed this video of alluvials going absolutely, well, not absolutely crazy, but he's showing alluvials in the overworld walking around. They just look nice walking through the grass too. Like, it actually looks very nice. I know that they were never going to put out anything bad, obviously, but look at that. They look like they're meant to be there. Obviously, the only thing that we need, other than just having them there, is to not feel like they've just been plonked. And every time you go in, the same ones are at the same spots and you know where they are. Obviously, all the creatures have a certain place where they're going to be found. That has to happen. But with Illuvium, it's a little bit different because it's not one whole world. It's different regions. So you can have this whole region, where we are now, I think it's Brightland Steps. Forgive me if I'm wrong. But any of these alluvials could possibly be found anywhere on this map. You may make it more rare in certain spots, but only minutely. You don't want to go in and every time you go, I want a Titanor or a Galant, whatever part of the stage, and I go to this exact point and I know that 50% of the time there's going to be one there. I think that's a little bit too rich. I think it needs to be pretty random, and then they need to interact with you like Palworld. You walk up to them, they may run away, they may charge at you. They have all their own natures of what's going to happen. Like, because that's what happens with animals in the wild. It needs to be this immersive feel, otherwise it's just going to feel janky and kind of out of place. Obviously, the main thing that Illuvium has that Palworld does not have, and it will never have, and it's obviously our biggest changing factor, is that we will have ownership on the blockchain. Obviously, a lot of people are indifferent about that right now, and it's really polarizing, and if NFTs are good and all this other stuff. Obviously, people that usually watch this channel are on the side that NFTs are good. I think they will be good in the long run. Trading, buying, selling just opens up the market for PvP to even be better than what it was, and just gives people like me that would rather Overworld some more reason to go out and grind that even more. I feel like this will be a defining factor in the years to come. Another point why Palworld has gone absolutely bonkers, its price point was super low. Like $40, you've got a whole game. And it's not just a little bit of a game and you pay for downloads and subscriptions. Like, no, it's $40, you've got a whole game. I know it's early access, but it's only going to build on it. They've released that they're going to have PvP and a few other things implemented into the game. They're not there yet, but they're coming. But for $40, you get a full game that you can play for hours with your friends. That is, like, obviously a lot of games now are free, yes. But for $40, that's not much of a trade-off. We don't know yet how much Illuvium's going to cost. Yes, you can play for free, do tier 0 runs, whatever. That's not the full game. Maybe that's what people get hooked on and then they start purchasing and go higher up, yeah, that's kind of what it's there for, but that's not the full game. I'm very keen to see what the actual price point for a run is. It will very much decide how much mainstream crossover we are going to get into Illuvium. It is going to be a massive deciding factor. Obviously, you're going to get your whales that once they are hooked, they are going to do stage 3 runs. They are going to put absolutely absurd amount of money into the game, but they're not the ones that keep the game running. Yeah, they make you money, but they're not a core huge group of people that are playing, like million people playing at one time. Palworld's playing 1.8 million right now. I know it's only a week in, but you need hundreds of thousands of people playing this game concurrently nearly all the time for it to survive, to build and keep going. So hopefully the price point of Illuvium does not get too high that people can't do more than one run a week. I'm going to bring up this next tweet by Asmongold. He's absolutely blown up since I last checked. When I last checked, he was probably around 500k subs. Now he's at 2.5 million on YouTube, and he's just going gangbusters. But the success of Palword proves that the only thing customers actually care about is a good game. Literally exactly what I was just saying before. Palworld has the undertones of like slavery, bestiality. AI has been thrown up in the air, and copyright infringements are literally being thrown around everywhere on the internet about this game. This is 4 things that come up that most people absolutely hate. But do they hate this game? No. Continually, people are going back and playing it more and more and more. It's getting more and more traction. It's getting more and more media coverage. It's just blowing up. I know Illuvium doesn't have any of these things, but it's the fact that a good game overrides everything. A good game overrides everything. Look at GTA. You're literally killing people, you're drug dealing, and doing all these other things that are literally going to send you to jail in real life, but it's one of the most played games ever. COD, you're going around shooting other people. It's in wars. People hate wars, but people love COD. A good game is a good game. It's like make a good game equals people buy game. Simple mathematical equation that works every time for games. Here are some of the pals literally in sweatshop lines building guns for you. Oh, that's alright. You walk around with guns and shoot animals just for fun and catching them. Again, fun. Look, you shoot them out of rocket launchers. This game is absolutely absurd, but that's why people love it. Yes, games can go so far this way. Games become too hyper-realistic. This is just a breath of fresh air into, yes, come in, play a fun game, do some ridiculous crap that you possibly cannot ever do, but it's things that we've all thought of before. How many Pokemon do you think of, oh yeah, you'd get this one to help me build a house, or like my champ or something like that? This is what you do in this game. Also, awesome point about what Palworld has done. This person's put a VR on and it works perfectly. Maybe not perfectly, but it works straight off the bat. They haven't had to do anything to get this VR working, and it looks awesome. Also, I connected my PS5 controller and it worked like that. Sensitivity is a bit down, but it works like that. Easy. Didn't have to do anything. I know you can do it on Illuvium as well, but it wasn't that easy. Plug and play with a controller needs to be in, I believe, especially for Overworld. PvP, whatever, doesn't matter. But Overworld, I think it needs to be in, because sitting back on your chair like this, playing with your controller, is just the best way to play games like this. Look, I've probably rambled on a fair bit, but what Illuvium needs to do, it needs to capture the hearts of everyone that it logs in and plays. It needs to be instant. It needs to get the content creators, which we all are, which what they're doing with the program and all that, but we need those outside content creators. There was people with millions of subs on YouTube making videos about this days before it was released. The hype was unreal, and that wasn't from them, that was from other people. I know we will get that hype as well. We have people following it that will be pushing it, but we just need that mainstream hype of those huge 100k plus, 1 million plus subscribers jumping on and getting videos out instantly. Once they do that, it just needs to hook people. Gameplay loop needs to be phenomenal, and it needs to be ease of access to play. And you learn like this, anyone from 5 to 60 can jump on and play, even 70 or 80 or 90. Not going to exclude you guys. It just needs to be an easy to play game loop and fun. It should hit on the nostalgia good enough. That creature capture is a game that will always prevail. People love capturing creatures and just building a team and then going out to battle. I feel like that's one thing that Palworld does not have right now, and that is a PvP game. And PvP is what keeps people in the game for a long period of time. Overworld is going to hook you, PvP is going to keep you, and that is how Illuvium is going to absolutely blast into the gaming world.